Hello, everyone, and have a pleasant day to all. Welcome to our live session. Today, we will be discussing relevant issues, especially the recent changes and transformations in our workplaces as a result of the COVID 19 pandemic. In the world of business, industry, and different organizations, everything gets done through human resources and the power of human capital. Through the power of work, all goals area is achieved. Then to say that work and workers have been and will always be the indispensable partners of business and industry towards achieving productivity and economic development. We are living in an unprecedented time. The COVID 19 crisis sent shockwaves through industries and economies, but perhaps its greatest impact has been the human beings, namely the fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. A big part of this has been the fact that we have a totally new routine, new challenges in our work settings. The world's response to COVID 19 has resulted in the most rapid transformation of the workplace. Working from home has become the new normal. Skeletal workforces in the companies have also emerged. There were layoffs and retrenchments in some companies. We went through a lot of immediate implementations of policies and protocols, from digitizing the relationship between firm and customers to digitizing the relationship between employer, employee, and even the workmates. The quick adoption of the new normal has led to an acceleration in the creation of new roles, changes in workloads, reskilling and upskilling of employees, and so on. While none of us have experienced the specific details of the challenges before us, this period has required us all to be supportive to one another as we all face uncertainty. This talk session will give us viewpoints for us to be informed and inspire everyone as we continue our collective works, update our skills, our mindsets, behaviors, and values, and be more productive despite the adverse situation that we have now. Today, we have our supportive friends joining our talk session. They will be introduced later. For our friends and audience out there watching, you may also ask your questions and kindly post it in the chat box. I will be reading it from time to time. This time, I would like to welcome Sir Alexis Oyaw as our co-host, okay, for our
Hello,
talk
Sir
session.
Jerome. Hello, Sir
Okay.
Jerome. Thank
Hello,
you so
Alex.
much for the rationale of the topic today. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you feeling right now? Okay, so in the past few months, we experienced various problems due to the pandemic, the COVID-19. Our current situation really affects us as a worker. So our topic for today is COVID-19, how it transformed the human behavior in the workplace. So di na tayo magpatumpik pa. Let's start with our topics. The first topic is understanding basic human behavior at work. Our first speaker graduated from Mindanao State University with a degree in business administration major in management and is now currently working as a marketing specialist. Let us give him a virtual round of applause. Mr. Ray Oroa.
Hello, Sir Ray. Good afternoon. Sir Ray, kindly turn on your microphone. Okay, that's
Okay, how
better.
about that, sir? Okay,
Okay,
all
that's
right. So I'm very excited once again to be here and excited with all the conversations that we're going to have here. But before we are going to start, let me remind you that every discussions that we are going to have here will be non-judgmental, no repercussions, just love, love, love. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me start. Let me walk you all through all this topic. So, the first topic is about understanding basic human behavior in the workplace. So, basic human behavior in the workplace is also known as workplace psychology. So, workplace psychology is the study of the day to day individual and collective human behavior in an organizations and the workplace. It is also aims to understand how work behavior can be influenced, change, improve, both the benefit of the employees and the organizations. So, workplace psychology is sometimes referred to as industrial and organizational psychology, where it primarily concerned with understanding, explaining, and ultimately improving the attitudes and behaviors of the individuals and groups in an organizations and applying this knowledge to problems at work. So commonly, the problems at works um, are the psychological trauma in the workplace, the productivity issues in the workplace, and the management of stress level among the employees. So let me discuss one by one. So the psychological trauma in the workplace. This refers to the the common psychological harassment and any behavior that is hostile or unwanted from one individual or group in the workplace to another. This misconduct usually occurs the form of verbal components, gestures, or actions that results in a hostile work environment. So employers have the moral ascendancy and many times have the legal obligations to ensure that none of their employees are subject to unwanted psychological harassment in the workplace because this is somehow negatively impact the worker's ability to their job. So the common psychological harassment are the sexual harassment, the overbearing supervision, constant criticism, or the blocking of promotions. Now we will go to the workers' productivity issues. So there are 7 common productivity issues in the workplace. So let's go one by one. So number one is the lack of acknowledgement. So once in a while, we would like to get a good job or a well done pat on our back, and it brings a huge change in our confidence. It somehow increases our motivations to work even harder. So, what if acknowledge the work of a less deserving employee instead of the hardworking and deserving employee? So, it won't take much time for this stellar employee to start sending out their resume to other companies. No, you don't want to lose all the best employees you have. So, the best solution to this is to start a recognition program, but don't start the program just for the sake of it. So ensure that it means something that you and your organizations are advocating. So the next one is the for work delegations. So among organizations, when work is not equally delegated, it leads to chaos and will overburden your employees. So managers or the team leads should delegate equally to their teammates. And the third one of the seven productivity issues is the lack of communication. So it's very explanatory no na pagka walang communication within the organizations, so mahirap yung buhay natin. So the fourth one is the lack of proper supervision. So without their own fault, the productivity of the employee may be negatively impacted by the lack of proper supervisions. So usually kapag ang isang empleyado medyo indifferent siya sa supervisors, medyo na hindi na siya na-supervise. So the employee, especially kung first starter pa siya sa isang organizations, medyo alanganin siya to do the best job within the organizations. So the fifth one is the inadequate technology. So we see a rapid advancement in technology every year. So if your employees are using outdated technology or equipment, it will somehow directly impact their productivity. So the sixth one is the lack of proper work-life balance. So remember that meron tayong mga overtime sa office, no? So accordingly daw, na kapag medyo tinaas mo pa yung oras mo within the office, so na-imbalance na yung private life mo. So somehow you need to find a work-life balance. So you as a manager, so dapat it's your sole discretion to have a work-life balance in your organization. So the last one is the inadequate training. So sa 7 common problems sa productivity, so pagka walang lack of inadequate training, the first, the hired employee somehow haphazardly do his job. So the roles and responsibilities also change accordingly. So you have to have the proper training among your all employees. So let's go to the managing worker stress level. So the stress in the workplace psychology is somehow another topic, but that is of a great importance and interest to staff and organization. Stress at work is almost unavoidable whether people are dealing with difficult boss. So like the poor working conditions, tight deadlines, excessive workloads, or insufficient pay. But when work stress becomes chronic, it can become harmful to physical and emotional health. So the organizations are increasingly turning to psychologists nowadays. Uh, some organizations go to some nutritionists and other experts to implement workplace wellness programs in order to achieve better mental well-being of the employees by providing the healthy meals, yoga classes, somehow they provide quiet spaces. Some organizations I know in Cebu um, provide their employees every break, every break sa mga employees, they provide videoke. They have videoke session just to manage the worker stress levels. So in final thoughts, the 7 important issues that can negatively impact the productivity of your employees, you can resolve them. Just witness the aforesaid productivity issues with your employees. Don't ignore them. Instead, face them head on. So try to engage and involve your employees as much as you can. Together, you can challenge and change the existing state of affairs within your organization. So we will go to the Philippines setting. So the Philippine setting, the company that we are in. So we will try to dissect and understand the human behavior in an organizations in the Philippine context. So the Filipinos in an organizations are the most um, complex human being in the planet. It's not easy to analyze how Filipinos develop his values and attitudes towards his community and his organizations. So according to Dr. Reggie Cruz, a doctor of education major in educational management, um, the Filipinos are making uh, four cultural influences that made them a complex individual. So these influences had been rooted out from their value systems that affect their relationships in the organizations. These are the Spanish time where the unpleasant cultural influence because generally sa Spanish time the law was supposedly crafted for the welfare of the superiors. So in the American influence, so the governance was still administrative in character. So officials government were appointed from the administrative machinery of the Americans pseudo democracy. So in Japanese regime also, we have valued money and power um, during the Japanese era. And the last one influence is the liberation and independence, where the Filipinos liberated from the domination of the Japanese. It was a war that brought havoc of vast destruction, not only in the life of Gallian Filipinos and dignity, but as a people, but also the whole Philippines. So in the Philippine context, there are social culture values in the organization. So the first one is the value of pakikisama or the interpersonal relationships within the organizations. So it connotes that it cooperations, conformity with established traditions. It is often abused in the promotions and the employment of workers. So the next one, the social culture in the organizations is the Palakkasan system. So in the appointment in the government positions, it is usually based on political connections. So rather than the skills and qualifications of an applicant. So somehow nakikita natin sa mga government na yun yung mga nangyayari because kumpare ko si congressman or ninong ako sa kasal ng anak ni mayor, yung mga somehow issues na ganun. So another socio-cultural in the organization is the mamaya syndrome. So we often hear workers trying to postpone what they can do for tomorrow, like the mamaya na lang or kaya bukas na lang. We are also heard people who cannot be rushed for things to happen or else nagagalit siya sa'yo. So we always try to find reasons to avoid work. So the next one is the palusot system. So it is rampant practice, especially in the government offices. So that's according to Dr. Rigi. So goods and other imported materials, for examples, pass through the Bureau of Customs through the system of palusot in order not to pay taxes. So, dili ni siya parang himo-himo, but it's reported in the news. So, the last one is the development of extended families. So development of extended families in the organizations. So this extended family system is where they could go for help and assistance in time of need. So the system developed a common shield of protection. So somehow, yung mga sociocultural sa isang organization in the Philippine context, medyo meron siyang negative connotations, but somehow the good side of Philippine social culture values is that the Filipino, as pointed out earlier, is a complex social being, is not bad at all. We are persevering breed of people as we take things right without much rancor or complaining, as our faith in God is strong and solid as rock. So the Filipino know how to bear hard times and enjoy the bountiful harvest of our efforts. We are sociable people, we are hospitable people, and caring people. So I think that's all the context of the Filipino culture in an organization. So I'll give you the floor back to Mr. Alex. Sir Alex.
Thank you so much, Sir Ray Roa, for the very knowledgeable topic, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. So let's proceed with our second topic, which is enhancing workplace behavior as a positive response to the problem brought by the COVID-19. So our second speaker graduated from Divine Word College, which is now Holy Name University, with a degree in commerce major in accounting. She is currently connected with the provincial government in Bohol. Let us give her a virtual round of applause to Mrs. Mary Jane Racho.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sir XC.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Good
Ma'am
afternoon,
Racho.
Ma'am
Good
Racho.
afternoon. I will be talking about enhancing workplace behavior as a positive response to the problem brought by the virus named COVID-19 that threatens our health nowadays. The spreading of the virus worldwide showed big impact in all aspects of society, including, of course, our workplaces. So, why is good behavior important in a workplace? It's because good behavior creates a pleasant work environment. Negative attitudes causes misunderstanding, which can create a hostile workplace and could lead to multiple problems of the employers. I'm referring to the management and the rank and files should be a reaction to today's particular situation in their workplaces. So, first good behavior is patience. Sa management side, I will cite an example sa among workplace no. Ah, nihatag og pasensya ang management regarding sa kanang especially sa bag-o pa bitaw nagsugod ang COVID no. Ang atong mga barangay treasurers dili sila dayon makakuha sa ilahang mga barangay assistants sa diri sa province no. Tungod kay stricto bitaw kayo ang kanang pagbiyahe sa una. So dugan nila makuha ang mga cheque. So problema ba ni kon mas tail. So ni effort ang atong management sa PGBH nga gi-deliver ang mga financial assistance dito sa kanang ilang mga barangays. So nihatag gyud sila og pasensya. So sa employee pud nga side, nihatag pud siya og patience kay sakripisyo baya pod ang mudong dito sa mga barangays bitaw sa lain-lain nga lungsod. So naghimo gyapon sila patience. Next, good behavior is being considerate. Anat, site gihapon ko example sa among workplace. Ah, nihatag sila consideration, no? Example, sa una, kung abot ta sa office og 8:15, ila na i-consider nga A8 sa kay isod bitaw kaayo pa og sakyanan, so nihatag sila consideration tungod sa situation. Like for me example, imagine kung duha ang ako ang no kay niabot ko mga 8:15 nga na. But pagtanaw nako sa kong DTR, wala ko'y late. So considerate kayo ang management ato nga time. And then mosay to ko example sa being considerate sa level sa employees, no? Kay ang setup from BH dili na ta dito sa mga opisina. So ikaw nga na kay tuyo sa nga office, maghuwat ka og mugawas katong nga na tuyo siya ang mugawas di para sa una nga kita ang muso. So imo pa consider na sa taon pa po siya magagawas kay mo po siya pagaling kita ako. So nga example of considerate. Another good behavior, no, is adaptability. The Department of Health discourages people from organizing events that will draw huge number of attendees to prevent possible spread of the virus. They even recommended the cancellation of big events and other mass gatherings until further notice. So, for example, again sa PGBH, i-cancel sa management ang, like, for example, sa flag ceremonies, ang kanang ay mass every Wednesday, o kanang activities. So, ang management adapted sa changes for the welfare of their employees. And sa employee nga side, kinahanglan pod nga mo-adapt sa changes. Like for example, ako nga case, sa pagdong panimo sa workplace, kakaayo og andamon. Sa ako nga case, mag-count ko 1 to 5. Kaya anong ako kalintan. No? So, first, number 1, akong ID, taod. Then number 2, akong mask. Number 3, akong eyeglasses. Number 4, akong face shield. And then number 5, akong helmet. And mag-ride mo sa akong anak pa ng trabaho. So, naakay i-adapt, no, nga mga bago. So, mauni siya sample o adaptability. Bisag hasol, pero kinahanglan jud i-adapt. So, with those good behaviors, like the patience, being considerate, and adaptability, still the management and that the management and staff should have in this time of pandemic. It is still very important to give motivation, proper communication, and good leadership. And this will be discussed by our next speaker. So thank you for listening and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Racho, for the topic. So now let's proceed with our third topic, which is the COVID-19 and its effect on motivation, communication, and leadership in the workplace. So our third speaker graduated cum laude from the Central Philippine University with a degree in accountancy and is now currently working as a part-time instructor and a junior auditor. He is a certified public accountant. And now let's welcome Let us give him a round of applause, Mr. John Carmelo A. Servidad, CPA.
Thank you, Sir Alex, for that introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I will discuss to you how this COVID pandemic affected some areas of the organizational behavior, specifically on motivation, communication, and leadership in the workplace. So, first, let us talk about motivation. So, we all know that employee performance is directly related to employee motivation. Going back, motivation comes from both the inside and outside of us. So we have extrinsic or from external motivation. It is when we are compelled to do something for our rewards, such as praise, money, or social recognition. And we also have intrinsic or internal motivation when we are compelled by things that are personally gratifying, such as learnings, satisfying a curiosity, taking an interest, problem solving, or success. Having said all of this, let us look closer on some of the common causes of loss of motivation in the workplace, especially during this pandemic. So here are some of the common causes of loss of motivation. So first is fewer rewards. Just like what I've said, external motivation factors such as recognition, performance management, and training are very important in the workplace. So many of these rewards are naturally absent or diminish if we are working from home, especially due to this pandemic. Next is the lack of team spirit. So coworkers create the energy and set the bar in the office. So bibudod kayo if naata sa ato ang office. Instead if naata sa ato ang office instead if naata sa bahay. So if we see someone else enjoying something we don't like, it can help change our attitude towards it. So for example, nakakita ta atong coworker nga kugihan kayo siya. Unya ikaw nga wala kay motivation to work kay gatinapuhan ka, mura kag maikog, mura kag mag-work na lang. So next is micromanagement. So nandiyo'y struggle atong bosses to manage as if the staff are remotely not in the office. So this can lead to employees feeling also demotivated, especially if walay boss sa imuha, walay mga-supervise nimo, malak jud kag motivation. Next is identity crisis. So an important internal motivator is the need to find meaning to our lives. So some of us were forced to just stay at home, and a feeling of being worthless or useless is really possible. So mao nang uban nagka-depressed ra jud kay nara sa bahay walay ginabuhat. Next is anxiety. So it's no surprise that people are worried about themselves and the loved ones, especially if there is a possibility to catch the COVID-19 virus. So mao jud ang major concern. So it's hard to focus on work when you are overwhelmed by anxiety. So dili jud ta ka-concentrate sa atong work if daghan tag nahuna-huna, daghan tag problema. And next is a lack of job security or stagnation. So if your job is on the line, you may initially work harder to try to keep it. However, if the situation is hopeless, you eventually give up. So what na dalus na kag motivation the moment nga feeling mo hopeless na jud imong case. So this thought of losing your job can also lead to anxiety on its own. Additionally, prospect of promotion is a key motivator for employees. Managers know this, but the economic situation during the world crisis makes it unlikely that anyone will be moving up the ladder. So it makes promotion unlikely during these times. Next is a very common distraction. So either through boredom or our intrinsic motivators, interest, curiosity, and self-fulfillment, we may become distracted by the chores and activities such as planting seeds, DIYs, doing puzzles, or cooking. So when you're at home, especially in lockdown, we think about a lot of things that we could do. So daghan ra tag mahuna-hunaan if naara ta sa atong bay. So until such time na makalimot na ta sa ato ang work. So usapod na sa makadula og motivation. So after knowing the common causes that will lessen the motivation, let us proceed naman on the things that we can do in order to stay motivated during this trying time. So first is So what can you do to stay motivated? So first is be kind to yourself. Try not to get frustrated if you find it difficult to work from home and begin to recognize your own patterns, rhythms, and motivators. So also learn to forgive yourself. So if na kay task nga wa na human, kay nagtinapuan ka, forgive yourself and move on ra and bawi ra the next time. Next is put a limit on the news consumption. Constantly keeping up with the coronavirus news cycle can be anxiety-inducing and demotivating. So nice man jud if updated ta sa news, but we should limit it only kay too much nga entertaining of negative news maka-depress pod sa tao, maka-lead to anxiety pod. Next is establish a routine away from the structure of the office environment. We should develop few cues during the day that help us to buckle down. For instance, give yourself some time to clear your head before you begin, then make maybe coffee kag start na sa imong work. So continuously make healthy routines. And next is give yourself breaks. So just as you do in the office, give yourself the time out also, but the work your way back to the task. Perhaps pwede ka pero make sure nga makabalik jud ka sa imong work nga ginahuman. And lastly next is to figure out your personal motivator. So balik ka sa imong core. So start to understand what drives you. So diri na masud if is kanang para kanino bumabangon or para ano ka bumabangon. So is it a chance to learn, a sense of achievement, or providing meaning, or taking an interest? So it depends on the task, but try to apply some of these motivators. And next is set your deadlines. So this is very hard, especially if you're a procrastinator ka. So this is a great way to keep on the job and to track your progress. If your project is long term, break them down into smaller tasks and na ako'y deadline each. Next is very important, especially nowadays, is to find someone or a few people you can share with during the day. So different people can give you a range of support you might need. So this is very important, especially for our mental health. So a simple kamusta ka na, okay ka lang, it really goes a long way. So that's it for motivation. Next, let us proceed sa communication. Let us know how COVID-19 changed employees' communication. So while the COVID-19 pandemic continues to challenge the world, one thing is starting to become certain. Today's workplace is changing. So we have workplace of the future, as they say. While working during the pandemic has been challenging and sometimes difficult to navigate, it has also highlighted the need for many ongoing improvements to make workplace run more efficiently. And with that rapid change comes the need to communicate with employees quickly, not just to stay on top of your day-to-day work, but also to ensure that they are taking the appropriate steps to remain safe. So here are some of the topics that I will focus on. So first is the digital transformation of communication. As many companies have transferred their employees to remote work, they are finding that they can communicate more quickly and effectively via digital channels. So nagtrending dyan yung mga digital channels. So this includes line team, sharing platforms, pop-up messages, video conferencing, instant messengers, video conferencing, social media, and more. So these employees need to be contactable at all times in the event of an emergency, especially if Simbako, a positive COVID in the case of the workplace. So it is therefore obvious that companies need to be equipped with the communication tools that can reach people quickly no matter where they are. So next is an increased focus on timely and factual information. So the situation with the pandemic means that things are constantly changing. This means that directives, policies, and news being shared with employees will change often. When something important happens, it's critical to share accurate information about it quickly to the employees. So if there is a time lag, people will continue to act in a way contrary to what the company would like. This can include endangering their own health and safety. So during the pandemic, there are many fake news stories that circulate on social media. So it is important for companies to address this and communicate with staff before they take the foothold. So especially if na ay mga issues about sa company, before pa siya maggrabe, dapat ma-take action ng company, dapat pagawas na sila og ilahang official statement to clear the issues. So we're done with the communication. Lastly, we'll talk about leadership. Organizational leaders in every sector faced with finding ways to relearn and adapt to the new normal dictated by the public health mandates. Leaders who are able to manage the threats and leverage the opportunities presented by the crisis and manage change at different levels would be the ones that can usher in the organization flexibility and future improvement. So good leadership is a key to this transition. Having said this, here are some of the things that leaders in the workplace should focus on. So first is, leaders should continue to meet the need for safety and security. So leaders should always make their employees' safety their priority. Leaders should demonstrate compassionate leadership and focus on making positive difference in people's lives by demonstrating awareness, vulnerability, and most especially empathy. So need jud sa ato ang bosses and supervisors to have compassion and at the same time understanding and inspiration during this trying time. Next is, leaders should invest more in relationships. Leaders should invest in the development of employer-to-employee relationship and to take active steps to ensure continued relationship building. So particularly sa atong mga remote workers. So you, a social being as we are, need yun nato og healthy relationship. Mas naglisod lang ron kay naanay mga remote workers, wala, dili na ta nilimit atong mga physical. Lastly, leaders should create and maintain a culture that values inclusion, individuality, and social harmony. As ways of working shifted dramatically with COVID-19 pandemic, many workers had transitioned to new work duties, processes, and modes of communication and collaboration. Leaders and leaders can help create inclusive and psychologically safe team environments by modeling behaviors that value the inputs of all members, encourage individuality, and allow members to experiment without fear and negative consequences. So leaders have the responsibility to create an environment for their employees na they would feel safe, comfortable, and free. So that's it for my topics. So I will go back to Sir Alex. Thank you, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you
Alex.
so much, Sir John Carmelo, for the wonderful topic for today. So this part will be
Thank you, sir.
the open floor for the question and answer portions, and I'll give it to Sir Jerome.
Okay, good afternoon once again. And I am very happy to hear the various topics coming from our guests and speakers. Sir Ray Roa, Ma Mary Jane Racho, and of course, Sir John Servidad. And thank you, Sir Alex, also for facilitating the activity. Now, let us be ready for the question and answer from the audience. But before that, I would like to recognize our friends who are watching right now. So, ako silang basahon o kinsa ning naa sa nanghatag og comments. And then there are some questions posted here, and then we will be discussing it later. Okay. Ma'am Carol Dula, and another. We also have Richardy Bulik. Hello, sir. We also have Sir Antonio Dano. Hello, classmates and friends. Good afternoon. Okay? Mga classmates ninyo dahil kununing, no? And then we also have here Sir Juanito Napitan. Good afternoon, everyone. So I would appreciate if you can also pose some questions later, and we will make use of that questions as a guide for our discussion. Then another, we also have Ma'am Jico Lim. Good afternoon, Sir Jerome and classmates. We also have Ma'am Marley Lagitaw. Hi everyone! Nindot kayo post si Ma'am Marley. Oh. Okay. We also have Ma'am I'm Elizabeth 326. Hello classmates. Then we also have Ma'am Helena Marcosi with the three red hearts. Okay. Maybe she likes the discussion kay hatag siya tulo ka hearts. And then we also have here question. Okay, be ready atong mga speakers from Ma'am Amy Elizabeth 326. Okay. So, iyang gingon, Sir, regarding job stress due to lack of supervision, what if, sir, if ang supervisor himself has work issues? Okay, mo na iyang first question. We also have here, ning say og hi, si John, Sir John Carmelo Servidad. Good afternoon. Oh. Ila siguro mo ani kay usa ni sa atong pinakagwapong speaker today. And then another message from Ma'am Carmen Sitamar. Good afternoon, everyone. Then, napod usa ka message from Scorpion John. Hello po. Good afternoon to all of us. And then, another question from Ma'am I'm Elizabeth 326. Sikan topic ko no. Sir, we all know how important team building is to an organization. So any suggestions on what can be alternative distressing activities if we cannot do team building in this pandemic? Thank you. No? So you know that we cannot do the team building activities that we used to have before the coming of the pandemic. So, unsa man kuno ang pwedeng nga mga alternative. Okay, so just be ready with your answer. Then, we also have here from Sir Kingsway. Good afternoon, everyone. Another from Ma'am Michelle Grado. Good afternoon, sir. And then, Ma'am I'm Elizabeth. Another question. No? Third topic. Sir, would you agree that there are employees that are more comfortable working from home than in the office? Okay. So, nabagyod ko no. How about you, no? You can also relate your experiences later, whether you are more comfortable in your work from home setting or in the regular setting in the workplace before the pandemic times. This is somehow due to the fact that they have the freedom to finish a task on their own pace without being micromanaged in the office. Okay. Then another message from Maria Molit. Yap, good afternoon, Sir Jerome and classmates. Then, Ma'am Carmen Sitamar said, nindot kayo ang topic pero lisod kayo masabtan tanan kay putol-putol, loading kayo. This is the challenge, one of the challenges that we have, ma'am, no, when we use internet, and then the internet connection that we have now is not sufficient or cannot sustain all throughout. So we hope that the government can work on this because it's really has a big effect, especially for the students and workers who are relying on internet connection. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Carmen. Maong gyud ma'am, putol-putol, nagsikan demotion si Ma'am Michelle Grado. Okay, that's really true, no? Okay. Ma'am Olit said, having trouble with my connection, putol-putol. And then, we have our friend here. Hello, sir. I'm using Rain's account, my legal consultant. Can't get in, Jude, sa akong account. Okay, another problem with the internet. Hello, Attorney Rain, my good friend also. Okay. This message, I think, is from BM Mimi Bunyel. Oh, so yan, deklaro dire. Hello, sir. This is Beryl. Si Ma'am Beryl, din ni si Ma'am Amy Elizabeth 326. So, daghan siya questions. So, good luck sa atong mga speakers. Okay. What is this, Ma'am Jeco Lim? Third topic?
Topic.
Or topic siguro, no? And we also have a question or message from Sir Antonio Dano Jr. I expect you to say more question, sir, or comment or message. What do you think is the best course of action the company should do to promote positive branding about the company? Okay, branding of the company, sir. I think this can be unsa man branding of the company during pandemic times, perhaps. Okay, another question. What can you say about the Palakkasan system in a government setting compared to private organizations? Okay, wala, take note ni mga speakers ha. Nagkadaghan ang questions. Okay. So, thank you so much. And then I think there are still many questions later. Nga atong i-entertain. Okay? Asa naman to si Ma'am Ratso? Okay, wala pa si Ma'am Ratso, no? Okay, let's start ang atong mga question. Ano pa day second topic question from Sir Antonio Dano. On the brighter side, what do you think are the positive impacts this pandemic has brought to us, especially on how we behave in the workplace? So siguro na ay mga realization, no? Unsa ko na yung mga brighter side. So dili lang siguro negative ang nahitabo during the pandemic, but maybe there are also positive aspects. Another question from Ma'am Michelle Grado. How to maintain healthy relationship within employees? Can you give us some ideas, sir? Okay, ang ipangutana ni si Sir Ray and si Sir John. Okay. So, okay. So, thank you so much for the questions. Then, we also have another question. Daghan na, no? Na-take note na ba ninyo? Talking about factors affecting motivations of the employees. Which of these factors greatly influence them? The internal or the external factor? Okay, so maybe you are going to review the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations from various proponents or theorists. Okay, so let's start the question and answer. Okay, so asa to dapita ang atong start be. Let's start with the first question from Ma'am Aime Elizabeth 326. Okay. So, regarding job stress due to lack of supervision, what if, sir, if you are supervised, if the supervisor himself has work issues? Okay, who will answer? Okay, si Sir John Kono as requested. Okay, Sir John. Okay, here is the question. What
So
can you...
regardless of job stress due to lack of, what if, sir, if the supervisor himself has work issues? So our supervisors are also human. So humans we are, normal ra jud ang stress. So depende ra pud na sa iyahang how he or she deals with stress on a personal level. So maybe but i-make sure niya lang na dili niya pagawas sa iyahang subordinates. Kumbaga mag-set jud siya example on how he himself dealt with stress sa iyaha. So pwede ra pud siya mag take a day off or pahuway sa kanang free from stress, mag-request siya og indefinite leave, mga ingana good, and hopefully if ang management is considerate enough, especially during this crisis na normal ra jud nga ma-depress ka, ma-pressure ka, ma-anxious ka sa possibilities or any fear of the unknown. So I think mao jud ang usa is to take a day off or rest.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
for the response or the answer from Sir John. Okay, thank you so much also for the question, Ma'am Amy Elizabeth 326. It's really true no nga daghan gid pod nga supervisors or managers had the difficulty in dealing the issues on pandemic, no? Especially kadtong nag-involve kinsay mo work, kinsay dili mo work, kinsay sweldoan, kinsay walay sweldo, and remember that daghan pod they also have their families, no, katong mga workers. So mao to, there is really a need for consideration, and then unsaon pagpadagan ang company or labi na paghatag og fair nga mga treatments for the employees. So kung naay work issues ang supervisor, for example, mo gingon ni Sir John, no, pwede mulib sa siya para magmuni-muni, no, or mag-deliver self-deliberation sa siya aron kay we all know nga na pwede man ta makahuna-huna sa sometimes kung bugat kayo ang mga pressure sa atong work, so it can also affect it also have effects, no, on how we are going to deal with our subordinates or workers. I hope nga dili kayo ni siya daghan nga problema at this moment of time. Okay, another question. Okay, again, thank you, Ma'am Beryl, for the question. Okay, second question. Okay, second topic. This will na-answer man ni si Sir John manito ning answer, no, sa primero nga topic. Sa second topic si Ma'am Kuan, no, Ma'am Ratcho.
Si Ma'am Ratcho.
We all know how important team building is to an organization. Any suggestions on what can be alternative distressing activities if we cannot do team building in this pandemic? Thank you. Okay, Ma'am Mary Jane Ratcho will do the honor of answering the question.
Okay. Ano man ko?
Okay, go ahead, Ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay.
So here is the question.
We all know how team building is not. Yes, team building is very, very important in an organization, no? So, what can be alternative distressing activities? Pwede naman karon, no, kanang like sa among gihimo sa office kanang outing, nag-outing naman mi. And then nice kayo kon ang among gihimo nga kanang all girls mi ga-outing, all girls, and then lain pud ng mga all boys, so kanang maka kuan gud sa stress sa opisina. So mao sad nay akong masuggest nga activity.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Mary Jane Ratcho, no? So at this point of time, ito naman siguro tapok-tapok o ginagmay, no? Pero dili lang yun. No? So we can still do the group dynamics, but with the kuan limitations lang. Unlike before nga pwede tag magigapos, manggiunsa diha, mag tumbling together, but now dili na. But still, we can do some team building activities with a limited number of participants. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Mary Jane.
Thank you,
O
sir.
basin ang gi-refer pud ni Ma'am Beryl with the question adto
Ako.
sa mga time na dili pa kuan bitaw, dili pa pwede magtapok-tapok. So is it possible nga naa gyapon yung mga team building activities even without the face-to-face interaction? Ma'am Mary Jane. Na-mute ang imuhang microphone, ma'am.
So
Okay.
team building gihapon nga activities ya.
Ah, ah,
Pero
ah, ah.
dili kanang ma-involve og kuan, wala og group.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Siguro kuan lang no mga di gyud og team building activities siguro lang ang mahimo is distressing activities like mga
Na,
virtual Zumba, virtual pwede man na siguro no when we will just schedule it like unsa nga day unya mag-synchronize lang siguro through the virtual or kuan through the use of internet na pwede siguro mao siguro nag-refer ni ma'am. Okay, thank you ma'am Mary Jane Racho and also ma'am
thank you, sir.
Beryl. Okay, for the third topic, would you agree that there are employees that are more comfortable working from home than in the office? So si Sir Ray na lang siguro ipaansiro na ko ano no,
Sige, sige.
si Sir Jan. So nag-swap mo.
Uh, all right. Well, there are employees also that are more comfortable working from home than in the office because your home is your rules. So, um, bali kung sa office man ka, you are binded by the policies, by the rules, mga kanang ipang mga kanang intermemo office ninyo, ingon ana. Pero pag naka sa imong balay, ang imong primarily concern is the productivity na lang yun. Kung say output nga gina-expect from you. So, yes, I agree na there are employees na kaning more adapt sila kung work from home. Pero on my personal point of view, I would rather report to office rather than work from home because on my side, bali like una-una pa lang is maligo ka, mag-prepare ka. It's more disciplined. Nandun yung disiplina. Whereas kung naka sa work from home, ang naisip mo lang is yung output nimo. So whereas kung nasa ka sa office, muduong ka dito, makikisama ka, mula mo typing ka, ingon ana. So daghan kayong mga disiplina nga imong buhaton kung naka sa office. So I would rather report to office kung ako'y pagpipilion. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Sir Ray Roa. So, who would disagree or agree with Sir Roa's answer? So, follow up ni Ma'am Beryl. This is somehow due to the fact that they have the freedom to finish a task on their own pace without being micromanaged in the office. So, I think it depends po sa person, no? Pero, nagyod po both advantages and disadvantages sa work from home or adto gyud ta sa atong real na office. So, di ba? Okay, so for example, if teachers like most of us no 7:30 ang klase sa buntag, then we will wake up early like 5 o'clock and then prepare ourselves in order to go to school, no? So, una na ato mga rituals, maligo, mukaon, magpagwapo, magplansa sa nina or mag-igip ng nindot. Unlike sa work from home ra, modritso ra kag atubang sa computer or sa imuhang kung sa imuhang trabaho without preparing your physical self. So usahay dili na nakakabantay nga taas na imong buhok or nawa nagimuhang mga regular nimo nga routine pagpagwapo, no?
Wa pa
No,
si
siguro
panudlay, sir.
siguro ni nahitabo nako, no, nga di na ako gwapo. Unlike sa una nga big hapon gwapo. Bitaw naman gyud tay mga preparations ba kung moadto gyud ta sa office. Pero mao nay nakita nako, no. Unya another thing is kung napo ka sa balay na when we do our kanang class, I'm speaking or for teachers, no. Mukalit og duol nimo imong anak, no. Mukalit ra guho nimo sa kuan mo sabak, no. Unya di man na nimo mapugnan ang man na nimo awayon, dili man pud sakto. In which mao po na siya nakita nga mga bag-o siya nga mga nahitabo or mga circumstances. Okay, what about others na mga advantages or disadvantages? Or unsay mas comfortable na i-work from home ba or from the office? Ma'am Ratcho.
Okay. Ah, sa ako nga side, mo prefer ko work from home. Kay dili na ko magdali-dali og ilis pa dong sa office. Unya makasave pa dili na ka mo plite.
Sa pagkaon?
Dili na ka mo plite, sir. Mas mo prefer ko work from home.
Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Ratcho. How about Sir John?
Sa akon nga sa ako nga side, sir, kay I have 2 jobs man. So sa full-time job nako normal siya nga setting. And then sa part-time job nako work from home ko. So if I were to choose mas depende if self-motivated ka, tuwa ka sa work from home. If output based imuhang ganahan. And unlike if mag normal setting ka nga time based jud mo kanang bisag human na bitaw ka sa imuhang buluhaton pero 5 pa ka dapat mo out. So ana, if work from home pwede man nimo mahumandaan imuhang mga buluhaton in advance. Kay pwede ra pod sa Google Classroom, pwede ra pod ka maka-schedule nga at this time mo upload imong materials. But at the same time, ang negative side ana is ang barrier between sa work and sa imong personal life ni gamay pod kay I know maka-relate pud ka ni sir nga kanang na ay tendency nga bisag mga 12 AM sa morning na estudyante nga mo chat nimo, sir unsaon ni mga ingana bitaw nga mga issues. So mao na siguro dapat pod i-maintain ra nga naay limit. So if ana ra pod nga time discussion, dira ra pod sila allowed mag-question. Although on my part naman mas ganahan ko nga ingana akong estudyante kanang especially karon nga lisod sila mapasabot. So I have to take an extra effort jud nga if ever wala sila may masabtan, comfortable sila mag-asa ako og question. So sa ako ang part mas ganahan ko work from home if sa teaching no pod nga side. Pero if sa learning medyo lisod ang sa work from home kay lisod magpasabot sa estudyante. Kana ra pod. Na may negative ug positive.
So
Yes, sir.
tinood yun, no? Na there are really mga nindot nga mahitabo kung work from home or unsa poy dili, no? Pero in my case, ganahan ko both. Ano man, kung sa work from home auto we can work o unsang orasa basta kay mahimo lang nimo imong output niya. Pero ganahan ang mga asawa ana sir kay anytime kasuguon sir. No. Suguon ko na sa ring. Bisag nag-work ka suguon pa, no bitaw. Example rin na dili na akong asawa. So pwede sa manito ka naman na. And then kadto pong mga instances nga wherein students mo communicate nimo bisag gabi or even kadlawon mo tingog imong cellphone na ganin mo tawag no. Mosabot na lang gyud ko ana sir even if nakoy gihatag nga instruction nga during office hour ta pwede or pwedeng mulapas gamay nadyoy uban gyud sir nga bisag gabi or kadlawon mo communicate nimo no napoy uban masuko ra ba gyud sir og dili ansiran no yung sa answer nimo ano no
So far, wala mo ako nagka-experience
Some of-
na, sir. Mayo lang.
experiences so I thought you can experience you have that kind of experience being a teacher also. Okay? So napoy mga questions no ako sa ning basahon from our friends na nag-send silang questions dire. Ako sang basahon din ato lang balikon later. From isa ha Ma'am Carmencita. And from Sir Juanito, no, what are the things you've learned, you've realized during the pandemic? Okay. Ano ito na-realize? Ma'am Jico, any suggestion on what are the best ways to overcome it? Still on the factors affecting employees' motivation. Pasang pangbasahon ha, then later ito na yung balikon ng answer. Ma'am Carmencita Mar said, what leadership style is the best in motivating the employees during the pandemic? Ma'am Michelle Grado also asked, if ever no internet access, what are alternative ways during this pandemic to deliver good and faster communications with the colleagues or those who are in the work from home? Lisod jud pag work from home kung wala internet, ma'am. No? Third topic, talking about motivation, how do you motivate an employee or co-employee who has been experiencing much pressure and stress during this time of the pandemic? In your own opinion, as good leader, this is a question from Ma'am Jaco Lim, how will you promote motivation and good communication in the workplace? Then how do you deal with workmate who is consistently showing negative behavior at work? Mahirap yan, Ma'am Carol Dula, no? In your own opinion, would you still want to continue the work from home setting once the pandemic is over? Maanad na niya po daw of work from home na, dili na mabalik ato sa office. Okay, so ako na itong gihatag ninyo nga mga questions and then ato nang balikon, no? Mananin sa kamam. Okay. Another question. Okay, we have here the question from Sir Antonio Dano Jr. What do you think is the best course of action the company should do to promote positive branding about the company? So I think i-relate lang ni during the pandemic siguro no kay lahi man ang branding na to gyud as a company. Pero ani nga time unsa man unsa ka positive branding na pwedeng i-act by the managers and supervisors.
Sige, on my part, sir, I think the best advertising tool jud karon is through word of mouth. So if your company nice ilang service during this pandemic time, makalat jud na ang information nga kanang, for example, company nila naghatag og mga incentives, naging considerate sa current situation. I think mo kalat jud na nga information to other people, and I think na jud na siya positive impact to the company itself. So it boils down sa service o treatment sang company nila sa ilang employees pud gihapon.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir John, for that answer. We can relate on that also, no? Makita gyud nato kung unsa ta kamahal sa atong mga employers at this point of time nga nag-pandemic, no? Kung naa ba sila mga considerations unsa man, how they treat the employees during this time, especially kadto nang niabot na sa point ba nga kanang maghisgot na og sweldo o kinsay sweldoan o kinsay dili sweldoan o katong mga incentives unsay ipanghatag nga mga because it's one also of the corporate social responsibility, no, nga wa man gyud ta mag-expect nga moabot ning pandemic. Nobody, no, nga nag-anticipate nga moabot ning nga nga panahon for all of us. So for the another question for the first topic, I think Mr. Roa mo answer. What can you say about the Palakkasan system in the government setting compared to the private organizations? Okay, medyo sensitive ni sir.
Okay.
Ano lang, sir?
Oo. So, let's play safe na lang. Actually, sa Palakkasan system naman, sa government, medyo rampant siya because siguro influence siya sa mga previous natong mga kanang leaders. Oo. So, ang nahitabo karon sa gobyerno, usually kung actually okay ko idea no pero like halimbawa yung mga akong bata ka ni isa ka politiko murag you have a chances nga masulod ka or to be appointed ka sa government agency or sa iyang government office. So the Palakkasan system is not bad at all because kay kanang the one you appointed is parang kilala mo. Oo. So, ang nahimo lang siguro siyang kanang bad kung halimbawa the leader or the one who appointed that person is kanang naa siya tainted reputation as corrupt. Murag naa siya kanang agenda nga nung gikuha niya ang usa ka person. Pero the Palakkasan system is really not bad at all. You appoint that person because you know that person, the person's capability, you know the person's skills. So murag mahulog siya nga because you hire him, you introduce him to an office, mo nang maingon siya nga Palakkasan system. So mo ni ako maistorya about sa kaning Palakkasan system in the government.
Thank you so much, Sir Roa. Then another question for the second topic. This will go to Ma'am Racho. On the brighter side, what do you think are the positive impacts this pandemic has brought to us, especially on how we behave in the workplace? Ma'am Jane?
Hello. For me, no, the positive impact this pandemic has brought to us, na-learn na to na we are all equal, no? Regardless of our religion, regardless of our culture, regardless of poor or rich ba, na marang nakita na ko nga nga nahitabo na to parang we are all equal.
Okay, so
with regards to how we behave in the workplace, as I said in my topic, no, we need to enhance our behavior, because kaning situation kinahanglan magud og daghan tag sabton So kinahanglan nga i-enhance pa ang ato ang behavior, more patience, more consideration, and more adaptability.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma'am Jane, for the answer to the question of Sir Antonio Dano. Ma'am Michelle Grado is asking, no, how to maintain healthy relationship within employees. Can you give some idea, sir? Sir John.
Ay.
Okay, Sir
So, in order to maintain healthy relationship within employees, siguro, it is normal naman na na-adjoy environment of fear usahay if supervisor mo. So, on my part, mas ganahan ko if ako ang superior is uh, comfortable with me in a personal level nga kanang comfortable bitaw ko mangutana if unsaon ni sir wa ko kahibaw unsay buhaton. So if ever ako ang supervisor man pohon, so ganahan ko nga ing ana sad ko ka comfortable sa akong mga staff or sa akong mga subordinates. So I think it's one of the ways nga to maintain a healthy relationship is to get to know your staff or your subordinates on a more personal level. So maura na siya, sir.
Okay, salamat kayo, Sir John.
Thank you, sir.
So, unsaon pag-maintain ang healthy relationship. So, kuan lang no, not only in the workplace ra siguro, but na gyud mo'y relationship, no? Especially sa family, nga i-consider nimo nga family set, not just as a worker. Okay? Ma'am Jeko Lim is asking, talking about factors affecting motivations, which of these factors greatly influence them, the internal or the external factor? Sir Ray. Sir Ray will be the one to answer.
Okay. So, talking about the factors kung who greatly influence the employees' motivations, either internal or the external factors. The external factors mo to siyang like bonuses, pat on the back, and while the external factors, according to Sir John, you go back to your core. Kung bakit mo ito ginagawa, kung kanino ka bumabangon. So, I think that would explain nga kanang kung asa ang mas mabigat kanang greatly influence, which is kung sa ako alang greatly influence is your core. Bisa pagtagaan ka og 1 million unya you are not motivated internally, so wala lang. So yun sir, so that's the dapat you go back to your core, you go back to what drives you, what makes you love, mga ganun sir. Nice.
Okay, salamat kayo, sir, no? Wa jud nimo kalimti ang giingon ni Sir John nga para kanino ka bumabangon, no? Or ito? Nga na siya. So go back to your core. Unsa man ang imong drive while you are working, no? So it can be both intrinsic and extrinsic, pero kung sa may mas matimbang nimo, it depende na nato as a person. Okay? So, Sir Juanito Napitan is asking, what are the things you've learned, you've realized during this pandemic? I think na-answer po din siya ni Ma'am Ratio ganina, no? Nga na-realize nato nga we are all equal regardless of our religion, regardless of our economic status, and regardless kung gwapa ta or gwapo, parihara ta nga wa maggupiti atong panahon sa pandemic, no? Wala ta kaadto og salon, and parihara po tang tanan nga nakadawat og aid. Gawas lang siguro sa katong SAP kay dili ta tanan nakadawat. SAP pato tawag ato?
SWS.
SAP
SSS.
Social Amelioration Program nga nahimong issue anywhere. Okay, no? So, basig napak kay madugang ani Sir John And answer
Ay,
naman ni
on
kani.
my part naman, although daghan jud ko na-learn og na-realize, siguro sa my greatest learning this pandemic is just to be grateful. So
Mhm.
although daghan jud siguro contentment at the same time and to be grateful ra kay daghan og na wala og trabaho, and even worse na ay mga nawadan og loved ones, especially not only this pandemic, although tuapod sa recent lang ang mga typhoon and everything. So I think that's one of my biggest learnings this pandemic, to be grateful.
Okay. Salamat kayo sir, murag fan gikan ni Catriona Gray no. To always
To see things with silver lining.
we are fun yun. And we have to be grateful for, no? Kay
Yes.
isag nag-pandemic ta, buhi gihapon ta karon, no? So unsa pa naka-survive gihapon ta. Naagyod ang
Mm.
Ginoo nag-uban gid nato no wata niya pasagdi. Bisan pag daghan tag mga projects nga wala na push through, o nataon tayo daghang ma-income unta pero nagiging bato. Naunta tayo daghang laag no nga na singan ani na cancel no para ba jud ko ilisi or ma-refund ni sa akong mga kuan international trips. Bitaw no pero tinuod yun na we need to be grateful bisag wa ta kalaag but we are safe and sound. Okay? And then sadly lang no naa pa sa pandemic ang uban nag-struggle pod sa mga natural calamities no. Let us pray for them na lang maka-recover gid sila. Okay? And unsa to, look at for the silver lining, no? I have a friend nga ning ingon siya nga na kuno nahitabong silver lining niya ang pandemic. Ano man ning boom ang naka-create siya business and then ning boom ang yang business because it's really a need for this time nga murag it's about internet connection man puto iyang business. So find niya ang silver lining, no? Another would also be very grateful nga during sa pandemic na-realize nila nga how important family is. I-value ang time with the family. No, nga wag yun na siya nahitabo during the time nga wala nag-pandemic. Wala naman ta naglakaw, mo tong na-familiarize na nimo ang taman-taman ang dagway sa imong asawa, sa imong mga anak, kung sa imong away labot ang uyab no kay physical distance and social distance is one man required. Okay? So let's move on. Atong i-entertain ang question from Ma'am Carmencita. Mar, what leadership style is best in motivating the employees during the pandemic? O, mauna ni Ron, unsa ang leadership style kuno nga best gamiton with their unsa man nga leadership? Authoritarian, authoritative, laissez-faire, unsa kaha? What do you think? Kay si Sir Ray atong paansiron ani.
Okay. So, what is the best leadership style in motivating the employees? So, the authoritarian style of leadership is that um, you have the authority, but still you acknowledge the employees. You acknowledge the employee side.
Mm-mm.
So that is the best. Um, for me, this is the best um, leadership style during this pandemic because lahat naman ng mga empleyado is nagkakaproblema. So, hindi lang yung company mismo ang nagkaproblema, kundi tanan. So, authoritarian style of leadership is that you have the you have the authority, but still you look the side of the employees. So I guess that's my point of view.
Okay, salamat kaayo Sir Ray. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, kani. If ever no internet access, what are the alternative way during the pandemic to deliver good and faster communication with the colleagues or those who are in work from home? Mahirap at talaga ito, no? Matatagalog na ako kay Sir Ray. Okay, kung wala ko no internet access unsaon man pag work from home, it's really difficult, no? Kay kung sa kuan pa ni sa DepEd pa ni mao tong hatod-hatod og modyol na work from home ang work from home pabaghihapon ang tawag ana or dili na. Okay, pero murag lisod no mag-work from home ka unya wala.
Answer, bali, the work from home is designed because of the advancement of technology. So, mo na siya kung halimbawa nga kanang wala tay internet access, siguro the kanang how to deliver goods and faster communications kanang paglisod man kano kay design bang good siya ang work from home sa kaning the advancement of technology. Kumbaga, they are hand in hand. So kung wala siya, wag gyud tayo mahimo. Oo.
So, kuan gyud siya no? Tinuod gyud na. Okay, Sir John, kung mahimo pa lang no, kung i-work from home nga kanang for example in the financial area, dalhon ang tanang kwarta dito na ipon sa balay. Di po pwede.
Di po pwede. Ang naapoy confidentiality issues po na, sir.
Oh,
Dili,
yes.
dili, madali.
Gina siya. Mao na nga kuan. There are ways or there are mga works lang gyud nga pwede dalhon na uban nga dili gyud pwede dalhon or dili pwede nga sa balay. Gawas lang siguro kung mag-sign lang kang mga documents ihatod dito pwede na siya without internet, no? Pero klaro man pod kabuok ang naay kuan nga mga job description nga mag-check lang ka or pirma lang ka sa mga documents like mga registrar siguro ana mahitabo na nila. Okay, another question. Okay. Third question from Sir Antonio Dano talking about motivation. How do you motivate an employee or co-employee who has been experiencing much pressure and stress during this time of the pandemic? Okay? Sir
ako.
Sir John will answer.
Okay. So, how to motivate employer, co-employee? Siguro, I will apply na lang kung unsa man akong gina-apply sa akong self every time I feel stressed or pressured. I always try to think that it is only a phase, like dili ni siya permanent. It is only a temporary situation that good days are coming. So maura na kanang be hopeful for the next day and buhaton ra kung unsay kaya mo mabuhat karon. So dili ka magpa-pressure sa mga bagay nga wala kay control. So maura to ibuhaton ra nimo kung unsa ray next right thing to do kung baga.
And one more thing siguro, sir, is that kung ikaw employee during this time of pandemic, let's go back sa discussion ni Sir John. You must be grateful sa time ng pandemic na meron kang trabaho.
Bitaw.
So, you must be very contented siguro nga meron kang resources during the pandemic because dili tanan karon nga ang nasa pandemic nga nagatrabaho. Some are laid off. Merong walang-wala talaga na kailangan talagang maghanap ng mga resources. Now, if you are an employee, dapat maging grateful tayo. especially in this pandemic. So that's one way of motivating your co-employees na meron ka trabaho during this time and others are wala silang trabaho, wala silang resources. So that's enough motivation siguro.
Thank you so much, sir, for the answer. Okay, another is from the question of Ma'am Vico. In your own opinion, as a good leader, how will you promote motivation and good communication in your workplace? So we have Sir John siguro ni.
Exactly. Sige, so to promote motivation and good communication in your workplace. So karon it's an extra struggle for the leaders or sa boss na to reach out to us. So this time siguro if ever they should make an extra effort, more update, more feedback, more follow-ups, especially nga dili nila kita makita on actual work. So they should motivate us by constantly asking us, kamusta na? Human na ba imong akong gipabuhat nimo mga ingana? So, normal nga ingana nga makarealize ta nga naa gihapon naga-supervise nato kahit papano.
Negative behavior at work. Social.
Okay, Ma'am Ratso will answer the question. With regards to Ma'am Carol Yula's inquiry, how do you deal with a workmate who is consistently showing negative behavior at work?
For me, ako siyang pangutan-on. unsay iyang problema. And then tagaan siya natog kanang understanding kay it maybe that negative behavior is a result of his or her problem. And another one also is kanang bitang maybe siguro naa siya nahimo nga maayo nga wa pod nato makit-i wa ma-appreciate. So kanang giving appreciation also kanang is important to our employees, no, kay maka-motivate man na marami bitaw kag maganahan pod kay gi-appreciate ang imuhang kuan. So kanin siya nga consistently showing negative behavior at work, naa dyan siya problem. So ato dyan siyang nanguton, and then katong as I said kanang sabton sa, and then give advice nga ingani nanabaho man ta kay may atong panginabuhian. So atong yung i-change atong behavior at work kay diri man ta na nabuhi sa atong trabaho. So advice, just give advices.
Okay, salamat kayo Ma'am Jane Ratso for the answer to Ma'am Carol's question. Okay, we are almost done. There are just few questions. Okay, from Michelle Grado, what is the best way to motivate employees in working aside from higher salary? Akong gimin, ani katong nag-work sa hospital, katong nag-frontline, nag-risk yun nila ilang health for us. So, paano siya, no? Tinood gid pud ni siya. Nga katong mga frontliners, they are risking their lives for the sake of their duty. Ug na pa lang sila choice nga dili mo work, kung pwede pa lang dili gyud sila unta, but they have the call of duty. So
Yes.
ako
So bali namin sir kung
akong recommend ang
motivate employees
akong brother
aside from our salary.
dali sa ako sa ring dali sa kaniya visit nako from the hospital ko na siya medical doctor.
Sir,
So kayo ang question no naa sa kuan as about risking their lives for every one of us.
Uh,
Okay? So, kasi mo answer, Ani?
so, another quick
Answering.
answer, I have some
Ma'am
thought
J.
of this. Balik kung halimbawa ikaw frontliner or isa ka kasundalo or isa ka ka-doctor, before you take that profession, you take it under oath.
Mm-mm.
Uh, so it's more than the motivation itself na bakit nandyan ka. Uh, siguro kung ako siguro isa kasundalo and then I'm under oath, dili na ako siya isipan because it's more like I'm more than willing to give my life sa country na kanang hindi ko naisip yung higher salary. It's more than the motivation nga mas makatabang ko, mas makahatag ko sa ako ang best. Pero kaya di ba na yun na siya sa mga professionals, they are under oath manggod. So it's more enough motivation again.
Ay, nakamute ka ata, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sir Roa, for the answer. No. Okay. So another question from Tiffany, Ma'am Tiffany Grace Hampak. If you have been working from home this pandemic, would you prefer to continue doing so? Sabot siguro niya o mawala na ang pandemic, pohon-pohon, no? Ginahan ra ba gihapon mo prefer doing the work from home setting?
Kinsa. Ako.
Kinsa.
Sige
Sir John,
naman answer. Sige. So, ako raman siguro diri ang nakasulay og work from home except kay sir. So, in my opinion, mas maayo if siguro mga 50-50. Like, 50% work from home and 50% na face-to-face. Like, mudong ra sa classes if naanay mga activities or for example, mga long quizzes, mga midterm exams, major exams. And then, the other lectures or pwede na siya work from home para to limit ra gihapon na exposure as long as wala pa na fully recovered jud sa pandemic.
Okay. No, salamat kayo, Sir John.
Kasi,
Ma'am Marley Lagitaw, I agree, being grateful jud ta dapat always. Salamat, Ma'am Marley, sa imuhang pag-add no sa kisulti ni Sir John ganin. In your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages in the workplace brought by this pandemic? So Ma'am yap ato na ning discuss ganina, no? I think it was already answered. Ma'am Tiffany, what are some ways can help employees feel connected with their working from home? So ipasabot ni Ma'am Tiffany ani. What are some ways that can help employees feel connected when they are working from home? Okay. Unsa man kaha? Ma-feel connected na gyud ta kung nata internet connection no, or from time to time na updates from your head nga na lang siguro no, karon dili ta mawala sa kuan, wala ta kana bitaw wala kay balita o unsay nahitabo sa imong workplace.
Siguro
Ma'am,
sir, pangayuan o production.
Production. Mapod. Aron
Ano ba sila gihimo?
so,
Ma-connect niya siya sa sunod nga question siguro from Ma'am Irene Blasco. I think this is the last question that we have kung walay mo apas. As a leader, as a leader, I know that you are also leaders, no? How to deal employee who is actually working from home Yet he or she is posting updates in social media, running errands for the family. Okay, daghan siguro po maigo ani nga particular ko ano, work from home but then doing some other chores or errands. Okay, basin po siguro o kuanto kanang late post to siya Ma'am Irene or pero kung actual na post gud siya niya work from home. Okay, so all of you will answer ha Sir John, Ma'am Ratcho and Sir Ray because this is the last question that we have now. Okay, first to answer is Sir Ray.
Okay, so how to deal employees work from home yet he's posting updates in social media, running errands for the family. So running errands siguro sa family siguro kay kanang kuan medyo na siya ginapas sa iyang family. Pero my thoughts is siguro you have to think before parang think before click. Tama ba? Think
Yes.
before you click. Parang ganun. So you must be responsible enough na posting things on social media. Kasi you are, pwede naman siguro ka mo dalikyat, pwede ka mo kuan, pero kanang keep on posting, murag, it would kanang affect sa imuhang productivity. Okay, you are kanang office time, pero you keep posting pictures on social media. So murag, you have to be responsible enough in using social medias.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ray. Your thoughts about this, Ma'am Jane Ratcho?
For me, for me, sir, it is okay naman for me for if the errand is for uh, the family. Kay basin da ipod o necessary jud nga errand. Kay for the family man pod no, pero uh, if possible lang pod unta dili na lang pod i-post sa social media. And for as long as that employee can makakomply siya sa gi-require niya nga production, no? For me, it's okay ra. Basta kanang mga good errands lang pod.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Jane Ratcho. And finally, we have Sir John Carmelo. Sir
Hi.
John, Sir Bidad.
Sir, for me, we should namatay na tawag ng murag work-life balance. So even before this pandemic, dapat i-respect man gud na nato ang personal life. For me, magiging issue ra siya if, for example, na kay expected output for the day, unya wala pa nimo nahuman, unya nila aglaag na mo with family. So as long as for me naka-comply ra ka sa imong requirements for the day, dili jud siya issue nga mag ano ka, run errands with your family. It boils down na pod gihapon sa policies ang company kung unsa ilang policy sa pag-manage sa ilahang staff.
Okay, salamat kay Sir John,
Thank you, sir.
Sir Ray, and Ma'am Mary Jane Ratso for the answer of this question. Siguro for me po no, mo lagi po to no, ato go po dong as employee ato pong hunahunaon kung sakto ba ko po ni i-post karon nga you're supposed to work man at this time. So i-wait na lang na unyang gabi, di wala man ka nagtrabaho, so ana na nimo i-post for example or during weekend ana na lang. Usahay lagi pod magkatol pod ning kamot nato nga kinahanglan mag-post gid pod bisag dili necessary if the family errands or gathering ninyo nga dili ana i-post at that moment pwede sa pag i-delay o mao po day ako ang kuan in which ni agree pod ko sa inyo nga mga thoughts. Napay ning ask question di ay no, dugang last na lang yun nga duha ka question from Ma'am Carol and Sir Antonio Dano. Okay, ka Ma'am Carol, as for those in the teaching profession, how do you motivate them or what advice can you give as they also affected in the pandemic? Pasabot ani mga how do you motivate them or what advice can you give as they are also affected in the pandemic? Unsa ni siya about Ang mga teachers or about ang mga students? Mga teachers. How do you motivate them? O kita mang tanan affected, no, of the pandemic. Unsa ko no yung mga
John.
advice?
Ay ako.
Okay.
Kaya ako. Sige, so so for me, actually tanan man ta nag-struggle jud sa umpisa bisag students o teachers nag-struggle jud. So what I did to keep my students motivated gihapon is to make extra effort. So mao to we created namin mga GCs sa Messenger. Yan ang for example, na sila question, nag-ingon jud ko nila nga pwede nyo lang ko ma-PM anytime kung naa mo question kay lisod man jud sila good pa sabton kag dili pod ko ka-assess dayon if nasabtan nila kay wala may on time interaction. Unlike sa amoa sa practice sa school nga ginateachan namo, ginabawalan mi og synchronous bawal mi isang synchronous teaching nga ano, so dili jud mi ka on time nga interaction, so wala ko kahibaw if nakasabot na ba sila ato. So ako nabuhat is mao to nga I make my students feel comfortable to ask question to me even after na sa amo ang nga specified time.
Thank you so much, Sir John. Nang follow up day si Ma'am Karel in the module making, sir. Abasig na stress ang teacher kay di pagpahimo sa module, no? Nga daghan kayong mga preparations ang giandam. Okay? So salamat kayo, Sir John.
Sige, sir.
Last question na gyud ni, no? From Sir Antonio Dano Jr. This pandemic has changed a lot of things. What do you think is the biggest isolation we as professionals felt during the peak of this pandemic, particularly in the field of workplace professionalism? Okay. Ma'am Jane? Okay, Ma'am Ratcho.
Sir, what do you think is the biggest peak of this time? Particularly in the
Isa po na yung question ni mo, Sir Danoy.
Pang Miss Universe, sir.
What do you think is the biggest isolation we
Yes,
Universe,
Universe and Miss Universe, ani?
what do you think is the biggest isolation as professionals?
So, ang maka-answer mo ay Ma'am Miss Universe, sir.
Unsa ko no atong Bisaya
We
ang
as
kahan. Sir Dano, sa amin imong pasabot
ni sura man niya question na ni.
Lisod ka question ako lisod pud ko bisan pagbasa. Particularly in the field of work.
So, actually, ano na lang siguro, no? Answer ko, Sir
Okay,
Jerome.
sorry.
So, the pandemic, lahat ng mga organizations were caught off guard. So, walang nakahanda, walay nakabantay sa atua, walay nakaprepare sa atua ng abot ang pandemic. Especially in the organizations kung how we are going to respond. So, that's the biggest isolation na parang we have to put everything in order during this pandemic. Yun yung parang ang hirap, parang you have to coordinate from one department to another's, plus meron ka pang IETF, parang ganon. So that's the biggest challenge siguro nga nahitabo ato nga time.
Okay, salamat kayo, Sir Ray.
Hello?
Oo, Sir Ray.
Yes. So bali murag na testing yan na natistingan sa pandemic ang atong kakayahan sa professionals. Though may mga lapses along the way because we are not prepared. But somehow, after 8, 9 months, still napamanggihapon yung mga organizations nga nakatabang sa mga empleyado, nakatabang sa community. So I guess yun lang siguro ang mga murag ka ng ang challenge sa ang pagiging professionals nato during those times.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ray Rowan. Sir John, your thoughts about this?
On my ano naman, when mo na feel nga murag isolated jud ka, murag helpless jud ka. So para nako is during those time na kanang lockdown jud siya katong enhanced community quarantine jud nga nara jud ka sa bahay. So during those times isolated jud ka, you were not able to practice what you are currently practicing. For example, if kanang for me office work ka, wala na kay may nabuhat, like during those time feeling mo stagnant ka or kanang murag useless or worthless or gana. So during those times possible jud nga ma-depress ka, anxious ka, kanang ma-fear ka of the future kung ano pa, especially ako kay layo man ko sa akong family, walay mo tabang na ko ari mga ingana bitaw nga thoughts. So at least I think mao to nga time nga feeling nako isolated jud kayat ko katong during ECQ jud.
Okay, salamat kayo, Sir John, for your thoughts on this particular question. Okay, Ma'am Jane, apa kay dugang?
Naka-mute ka, ma'am.
Nakamute ka, ma'am.
Ang ako sir no is kana sigurong pag-follow sa mga protocols kanang wala may exempted bitaw ana. So even if sikinsa ka kanang you have to follow bisan pag gadali ka nga na you have to follow nga isuwat imuhang name ug musod ka sa mga establishment kanang papilapon ka ng mga questionnaire. Kana pud sir kanang mao nay kanang murag challenge pud sa atong pagka-professional. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Jane Ratso. So, any final words? We are about to end our live session today. And I would like to say thank you to all our guests, our mga speakers nga buaw, buyag, mga gwapo, gwapa of course. And then you have to you are very knowledgeable in the particular topics that you have presented. Okay, final words with regards to our topic, COVID-19, how it transformed the human behavior in the workplace. Let's start with Ma'am Jane Ratso. Okay, final words.
Thank you. Thank you very much kanang for this experience. This is my first time to join a webinar like this. And basin ang akong mga answer dili po to exact. So pasensya as in this is my first time. Thank you Sir Jerome. Thank you sa akong mga kauban nga active kayo. Si Sir John, si Sir Ray, o si Sir Exe. Nawa naman si Sir Exe. Thank you very much. And thank you also sa akong mga classmates na naminaw na mo. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Jane Ratso. Sir Ray Roa.
So final words is that the COVID-19 transformed greatly the human behavior in the workplace because the COVID-19 defines the employee's resiliency to all and towards events, especially in this pandemic.
Okay, thank you so
So
much,
yun
sir.
sir, it somehow developed. Yes, yes.
Wala ni friend ni Sir Roa ang internet connection siguro. Okay, salamat Sir Ray. And finally, we have Sir John Carmelo. Sir John.
For me, is kanang nobody knows when will this pandemic end, and by the time it does, almost everything will not be the same. Daghan na jud naglahi, but I hope some things will remain the same, especially ang ato ang mga values, atong learnings, and ato ang na-realize karong pandemic. So I would also like to take this opportunity na to thank man everyone, especially to Sir Jerome for this opportunity. So this is also my first time. So, and also to my group mates, thank you, Jude, and may God bless us all.
Okay, salamat kayo to everyone who are watching out there. I hope that you learned something out from our topic sa talk session, COVID-19, how it transformed the human behavior in the workplace. So again, salamat and bye everyone.
Thank you.
So,